So we just got a new trailer for this new Star Wars game called Star Wars Zero Company, which comes out in August. It actually looks pretty good, but what I'll go over in today's video, because this is a Clone Trooper channel, is the Clone Troopers in this game, because this new trailer has really showcased their armor, just kind of how they'll exist in the game, and it honestly has me more intrigued for this game. I mean, I'm not a huge turn-based style video game guy, but I'm willing to check this game out because it's Star Wars and because it actually looks like an interesting story, and I'll go over all of that and how the Clone Troopers will probably fit into this story. So the first thing I'll mention is that this game is actually canon, and it is set at the end of the Clone Wars. It says the very final end of the Clone Wars, which is interesting. It's not just like the last year or whatever. It says specifically it's at the end, so that's very interesting. Maybe there'll be some connection to Revenge of the Sith, I don't know, but it does look very interesting. It looks like it kind of has this darker, grittier tone to it, given that the graphics are a lot similar to like Battlefront 2 in ways. Like even some shots from the Clone Troopers that I'll show like literally just look like straight out of Battlefront 2, which is kind of a cool thing for a turn-based style game, and it does add a grittier feel to maybe some more stuff that we would have seen in something like the Clone Wars, which was obviously animated. So it will give kind of maybe that tie-in to Revenge of the Sith that will be kind of cool. So the first shot we have is what seems to be a captain. He looks pretty much straight out of Battlefront 2, like I said. Then we have a normal Phase 2 clone, and then it looks like a second Phase 2, just standard white clone in the back, and then another like captain in the right. And what's interesting about this game is that it's actually not really about, the clones or the Republic or the Separatists. It is following like mercenaries during this time, which I think is a really interesting approach to it. It's kind of some of the Clone Wars episodes where it was just like from the perspective of bounty hunters or mercenaries or stuff like that. I always found those episodes really intriguing to just see these kind of characters that maybe don't necessarily have an opinion on the war, but they're existing in a time of war and they have to kind of collide with it. And it seems like this will kind of happen. Whatever mercenaries are kind of in this game, they'll end up in maybe this big battle, because it seems like this is a gunship. There's another shot in the trailer where there's just gunships flying and shooting at separatists. So it seems like there's going to be this maybe big battle in the game, maybe that the mercenaries end up in, which I think will be a pretty cool part of the game. So some other shots feature a character which is actually named. His name is Trick, and apparently he kind of went off on his own, and he's kind of serving with these special force groups in the Republic, which is very interesting. It's kind of like Republic Commando. I could definitely see this character being close to like a Sev or someone from Delta Squad, where maybe he kind of has a different opinion on other clones and just the war in general than like a standard clone trooper would. And it's interesting, he's wearing Phase 1 armor in this. He's not wearing Phase 2. Maybe the timeline will be different, maybe we'll jump around to different periods, I don't know, but it could be interesting to just see a Phase 1 clone trooper existing in kind of the end of the Clone Wars. I think that's an interesting concept. So the next shot is very interesting. We see the character I just mentioned, Trick, and he's next to an Umbaran, which obviously, if you know the context of the Clone Wars, the Battle of Umbara, that was one of the most brutal battles in basically all of Star Wars, just in general. I remember watching that when I was like 10 or something. It was just like blown away at how they really went there. Like it was a brutal episode of Clone Wars. So it'll be interesting to see this dynamic, and I actually read that it says that one of the main conflicts of the game will be Trick and this Umbaran kind of dealing with the tension between each other, obviously given the context. So I think that's a very interesting theme to explore, because it really felt like in the Clone Wars we only got those couple episodes of the Battle of Umbara, and then it just kind of moved on, and one of the central themes was just kind of the brutality of war and how Pong Krell was evil, but we didn't really see too much of the Umbarans. Like even in the last episode of that series, it was mainly focused on Pong Krell. So I think it's interesting to explore that arc a little bit more. It's not really something you would maybe necessarily think of that would be something that could be explored in future Star Wars projects, but it is an interesting concept, and I like that they're including this, and it definitely seems like they have some intention to fit this into the Star Wars Clone Wars timeline. It's not just like some random game that's coming out that will just have a random story. So I really do like this detail. The next shot, we see another clone trooper, which appears to be kind of the similar battalion color to Mace Windu's battalion, someone like a Pods or a Kelly even. Kind of that brownish armor. People are saying this is Trick actually, which could be interesting. Maybe he upgraded his armor, or this is a flash forward in the timeline. Who knows, but a cool shot nonetheless, and definitely great armor. I love seeing this kind of brownish color and just new variants of clone armor in general, because there's so much to the Clone Wars that we just haven't explored, which I find interesting. We do get this shot of a deluxe edition to this game, and it says ARC Trooper armor set, 100th Clone Company armor, and then Republic officer uniform. So it seems like if you buy the deluxe, you get these special edition skins, or I don't know necessarily, you'll have to correct me in the comments down below exactly what this would do. Maybe you can import it just as a character in the game, or it's a special mission. I'm not entirely sure, but nonetheless, this is a cool look at the ARC Troopers. We get kind of some new armor that we've never seen. I mean, the red one kind of looks similar to a Battlefront 2 variant of the ARC Trooper, but the black one, the blue one, different. I haven't seen these before, so very cool. I really do like this blue ARC Trooper armor, really cool. Then the 100th Clone Company armor. Again, you get the Phase 1 armor, so that's interesting. I think maybe we'll be jumping around in the timeline throughout this game, because obviously I thought it was set in the later years of the Clone Wars, but we're getting Phase 1 armor in a couple shots, so that's interesting. And also, what is the 100th Clone Company? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Please correct me in the comments down below. I haven't heard of that company of clones before. So one of the most interesting shots, in my opinion. It's really quick and it's very blurry just because it's so quick, but we see this 501st trooper with his helmet off, and he's in handcuffs. This is very interesting. It seems like maybe he's been taken captive, and maybe they're doing a trade between giving a clone trooper versus a separatist prisoner, and they're kind of exchanging. It's a very popular or just common thing to do in war. So I think that is probably what's going on here, and I don't know what happened to Bro's hairline. I think that's really the main antagonist of this game, is going to be this 501st Trooper's hairline, because god damn. I mean, maybe it's just because this picture is blurry and it's fast. Maybe his hairline is still intact, but it looks pretty chopped from what I can see. But interesting enough, spoiler alert, pretty big spoiler alert for this game. Later on, we do get a reveal that Anakin Skywalker will be in this game, so I think this clone trooper and Anakin have kind of some connection. Obviously, given this clone is in 501st armor, and then in the trailer when Anakin Skywalker shows up, we do hear a clone say General Skywalker. So I think what probably happened here is maybe Anakin came to rescue this clone, or whatever the case may be. I definitely think these are similar scenes. So that's pretty much it. I think this game definitely looks intriguing. Again, a turn-based style game is not my kind of game, but I'm willing to give it a chance because this story does actually look quite intriguing. Having Anakin in there, having this be set at the end of the Clone Wars, some interesting characters with the Umbara, and then the new character Trick. I think it could definitely be interesting. I'm also looking forward to that pod racing game, but no clones in that one as far as I know, so we'll not be covering it on this channel. So yeah, make sure you subscribe for all things Clone Trooper news, and yeah, give this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this game. Will you be playing it? Let me know.